Hello, 7th graders. Today's lesson is lesson 2.1, Order of Operations and Exponents. Please get your notebooks out so we can begin taking notes. Don't forget to title your page. The first definition that you need to write down is exponent. And an exponent tells you how many times a number or a base is used as a factor. So if we look at here at this example, 5 is going to be the base and 3 is your exponent. So this 3 tells you how many times you're going to multiply the 5. So another way of writing 3 to the 5th is 5 times 5 times 5. Except I think I said 3 to the 5th. That should be 5 to the 3rd. So another example, the base would be 4, and the exponent would be 5, and this 5 tells you how many times you're going to multiply the 4. 4 times 4 times 4 times 4 times 4. This here is called repeated multiplication. And this is written in exponential form. Okay, so why don't you try these problems on your own a minute, and then when you're ready, you can turn the video back on. All right, so welcome back. We have 44 times 44 times 44 times 44. So our base is the number that we're multiplying over and over again. So it's 44 to the 4th power. This here, we need to make sure that we're using parentheses. So we have -2 in parentheses, and we're multiplying that 2 times, so it would be to the 2nd power. Here's a story problem. Gibraltar is at the mouth of the Mediterranean Sea. And you can see here, this here is Gibraltar. That outlined spot. Its area is about the same as the area of a square 1.5 miles on a side. Find Gibraltar's area. So if we had a square and it's 1.5 miles on the length and 1.5 miles for the width, to find the area, we would multiply 1.5 times 1.5 or 1.5 squared. So you can always use your calculator, and 1.5 squared would be 1.5, and then you use the key that either looks like this will give you the exponent, or it might be y to the x or x to the y. These are all the exponent keys on your calculators, depending on what calculator you have. So you would type in 1.5 and then the exponent key, and then the number that is the exponent, and 1.5 to the 2nd power is 2.25, and that would be square miles. That's the area of Gibraltar. Okay, on your own, I want you to try this, and you can use your calculator if you'd want, or you can use a piece of paper. So pause the video and try these problems, and then we'll come back and go over them. Okay, the first problem here, 3 to the 5th power, is 3 times 3 times 3 times 3 times 3. Now, we can just punch that in the calculator and it would be a lot easier. So it would be 3, the exponent key, to the 5th power, which is 243. Now, when you have powers of 10, there's a little trick. Instead of punching in 10 to the 9th power on your calculator, which you can do, the exponent tells you how many zeros we're going to have after the number 1. So we're going to have 9 zeros. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So that exponent, only when it's powers of 10, tells you the number of zeros after the 1. And then the last one, the decimal, 3.2 to the second power, or 3.1 to the second power, which would be equal to 9.61. Okay, remember when we're talking about order of operations, we did this last week or the week before. We follow PEMDAS, which is parentheses, exponents, and then we combine multiplication or division in order from left to right, and then we combine addition or subtraction in order to left in order from left to right. So the first thing that you're going to do, copy this in your notes, do all operations within the grouping symbols first. The grouping symbols are going to be parentheses or brackets or the fraction bar. Evaluate any terms with exponents, then you're going to multiply or divide in order from left to right, and then you're going to add or subtract in order from left to right. So let's talk about these exponents. Are these equal? What this means, negative 2 to the 4th power, when we have these parentheses here, that means that we're repeatedly multiplying the negative 2. So it's negative 2 times negative 2 times negative 2 times negative 2, which we have an even number of negative signs, so the answer is going to be positive. 2 times 2 is 4, times 2 is 8, 8 times 2 is 16. So the answer would be positive 16. Which this one says here is, it's just 2 to the 4th power, and this is saying the opposite of. So we have 2 times 2 times 2 times 2, and then we're going to put a negative sign on the front of it. So we know 2 times 2 is 4, times 2 is 8, times 2 is 16, and then we put the negative sign. So these two are not equal. So negative 2 in parentheses to the 4th power is not equal to the opposite of 2 to the 4th power. So be very, very careful when you see problems like that. So let's look at these exponents. Why don't you pause the video and try these on your own and see what you get for an answer. So this here, negative 3 to the 3rd power, is negative 27. And this here would also be negative 27. Because this here is negative 3 times negative 3 times negative 3. And this is the opposite of 3 times 3 times 3. Here we have to do what's in the parentheses first, so we add 3 plus 5. We have 8 squared minus 2. Then we're going to do the 8 squared, which is 64. And 64 minus 2 is 62. That's it for today. Please come to class with any questions that you may have. Thanks for listening.